Imagination. It is a powerful tool. Our country was founded upon imagination. Early explorers imagined a new world filled with gold and riches. European royalty imagined power and wealth extending across the ocean. In contrast, Native American and African peoples never imagined being displaced or uprooted. However, the persecuted of Europe, Puritans, Quakers, Catholics, and others imagined living their faith in a new world without government interference. And about 170 years after the settlement of Jamestown, frustrated colonists imagined a nation separate from their European roots. Victorious, they then imagined an independent future sealed with a document beginning with the phrase, "We the people."
We the people! We the people! In order to form a more perfect union.
Perfect union.
Establish justice and spread domestic tranquility.
Provide for the common defense.
Provide for the common defense.
Promote the general welfare.
General welfare.
And then
secure the blessings of liberty.
Blessings of liberty.
To ourselves and our posterity.
To ourselves and our posterity.
Do ordain.
Do ordain.
Do ordain.
Do ordain.
And establish this right for the
United States of America.
At the beginning of 2008, no one could have predicted enough cooperation and focus from one particular fifth grade class at Hamilton School in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, to produce a play about American colonization. However, 3 months of intense academic and artistic integration by first-year teacher Megan Byrnes and theater specialist Janet Bixler produced dramatic results. A teacher-artist partnership, called a TAP for short, is a pilot program integrating one academic subject with one artistic discipline. This TAP included many layers, including assessing student knowledge in American colonization and in theater, before the implementation of any lesson plans.
If there's 7 words on your right and 5 sentences on your left, how many extra words are there going to be? 2. Thank you. Let's do the first box together. Let's do the first box together. A person that travels to an unfamiliar land.
Introducing theater games to build cooperation and teamwork.
We're like 25 human beings here, almost, but we're becoming one human being. And our goal is to have 3 balls going, 2 objects being passed from left to right, and yesing at the same time. Our goal is to become a human juggling machine, if you will. We can only do it if everybody does their job, everybody pays attention. I'm pointing to the people that made that point.
And eventually integrating theater with social studies.
It's important, obviously, to understand that in our work, the students design and choreograph directly all of these images from discussions we've had, from work or research that they've done, or different things that we've read. So they designed this image.
Remember, men on stage, you will lead as Christian speaks, and Janice, you will bring in the next image of the enslaved.
The enslaved never imagined leaving Africa to become servants for white tobacco farmers.
In an official statement about the schools in Pennsylvania's capital city, Mayor Stephen Reed said in 2008, with more than 90% of the district's students living at or below poverty levels, the district must deal with challenges beyond which any other district in this region must contend. In a creative response to schools across the country systematically cutting arts programs, cuts that are more profound in urban settings, Pennsylvania Council on the Arts looked to Jump Street, an agency that has connected the arts to the community of Harrisburg for over 25 years, to manage a TAP in the capital city. An orientation put Pennsylvania Council on the Arts, Jump Street, and Hamilton School on the same page. With the energy of a dedicated teacher, the experience of a talented artist, and the enthusiasm of a supportive principal, the TAP program would mirror the curriculum the children were about to study, the exploration of a new world. This TAP would emulate the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson. Do not go where the path may lead. Instead, go where there is no path and leave a trail. Carl Blischke, Arts and Education Program Director, Pennsylvania Council on the Arts.
A teacher-artist partnership starts with the idea that both the teacher and the artist understand the philosophy behind how learning in and through the arts works, understanding the philosophy of identifying learning goals, being very clear about that, and identifying ways that their teaching will enhance that they'll be able to measure the learning that students are achieving.
Dr. Warren Newman, Consultant, Pennsylvania Council on the Arts.
The arts are embedded in the human being, and we see that in terms of how children learn before they ever get to school. They use their imagination, they sing songs, they dance by themselves, they create characters, and they respond. So it is a natural part of who we are as human beings.
A teacher-artist partnership starts with the idea that a professional artist working together with an educator, with students, has the ability to greatly impact and enhance learning about the arts and through the arts in all academic areas. And what we found in artist residencies is that a key component of success has to do with the quality of the partnership between the teacher and the professional artist.
Janet Bixler, Theater Specialist.
I've been working as a theater educator and a theater specialist for 15 years. I've worked in theaters, in schools, community centers, all using theater in different ways. And my specialty is creating theater that has yet to be in existence with kids. And the kids actually guide all the creation, and I just facilitate it. Theater is all about the human story, and social study is also about the story of the people and the countries and the cultures that create our world. I believe if kids are going to learn anything and apply it to their lives, they will have to find it accessible to them in the moment that they're living now.
Megan Byrnes, teacher, Hamilton School.
This is actually my first year teaching here in the urban school setting in Harrisburg. I just graduated from Hofstra University, and I did my student teaching in Long Island in an urban school setting. And I recently moved here to the Harrisburg area, where I am now employed as a 5th grade teacher here. Collaborating with Janet I am not intimidated at all in that aspect. The only part that I may be intimidated by is the whole theater arts program, because I am not exposed to theater as well as Janet is, but that's what I'm hoping to learn from this whole process.
Lisa Pearson, principal, Hamilton School.
I think that it'll be very interesting to see how they learn from each other, fit for each other, and I think it's going to be a great match. I think it'll enhance the vocabulary. I think it'll give them exposures that they might not necessarily have otherwise. I think it'll help build community in the classroom, and it'll just give them a whole different skill set that they may not already possess.
Megan and Janet strategized to teach the colonization of America to 5th grade inner city students using the vocabulary and concepts of drama. In their pre-planning, the team decided to study the preamble of the United States Constitution and work backwards. And just as it took collaboration among 13 different colonies to become one nation, it would take collaboration among a new teacher, a seasoned theater specialist, and 21 children, each with his or her own agenda, to become one classroom of learners. We, the people, became an object lesson not only for the children, but also for the Harrisburg School District, Jump Street, and Pennsylvania Council on the Arts. Just as diverse colonists had to find ways to cooperate with one another and the Native Americans for survival, so Janet reached into her drama toolbox of theater games to bring this class of diverse personalities together. At first, many students were reluctant to play. Not only were they unfamiliar with playing a cooperative game for fun and with no winners or losers, but they were also totally unfamiliar with playing a game with a committed adult participant. The children were self-conscious about looking foolish and were embarrassed with their mistakes. With Janet's gentle encouragement and playfulness, the students finally accepted the games for what they were, ways for actors to warm up their bodies, their blood, and their brains.
I need you guys to give yourselves 5 claps and a snap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, snap. Because you, when you had the ball stimuli, your yesing got so much better. Yes, you made comments that there's 2 yeses going on at the same time, people don't know what's going on, but I must say, and I played this with kids from 6 all the way to 25. And, well, when I'm as old as I am, they're kids. But when I add the ball, usually their yeses get worse. Your yeses got better with the added stimuli because you were ready for a challenge.
In Janet's quest for students to focus and to respect other students' space, ideas, and actions, actors' discipline became a mantra long before the June production. Mistakes became part of the fun because everyone made them. Students began laughing with each other and not at each other. As the games mixed up the classroom cliques, students began interacting positively with other class members, preparing them for the integration of social studies and drama. As opposed to just reading about an academic subject, in a TAP, the child experiences the academic subject through the arts. Early in the unit, Megan assigned groups of students to research the different players of the American colonization. As students presented their reports, Janet coached groups of students to create a tableau of a scene representing those players. The use of tableaus continued throughout the program as a way to introduce the student to scene work, directing, and working off other actors. Over 3 months, the children became so comfortable with the tableau technique, applying it to a novel and play they read, and artwork they studied on a field trip, that Janet began implementing conversation and movement. Students began to see and hear history in their own imaginations and could recreate that history.
Give me the bag. Take it. Shit, they're illegal. I wish they were free. Yeah.
In a TAP, there is as much time devoted to planning and evaluating each lesson as there is to teaching it. Integral to the process are the observations recorded and shared by the person who is not teaching.
When Janet's work is done for that day, it is really important that you go into the sharing and reflection mode.
So I am strictly observing the entire hour that she comes in to teach.
Right.
Okay. And then after that, that's when we have our debrief session,
Right.
and me and her and I speak back and forth. What worked, what
except
didn't
that
work.
is structured this way. She doesn't say a word at first.
Okay.
You tell her what you saw. You don't tell her whether you liked it or disliked it. You don't tell her whether you thought it was good or bad. You merely tell her exactly what happened and what you observed in terms of what kids did.
You conducted surveys. Obviously, you know that. I started with survey 1. You explained what the blue paper was, which was a cultural arts experience survey, and you explained what the survey was about. You had Oswald read the introduction to the survey, and the class listened and they responded well to it. And you read each statement out loud while the kids filled in their answers, and their answers were either the yes or the no. The kids were silent, they were listening, they were responding to you, they were engaged, they paid attention. you read the questions out loud to the students, which I thought was very important for them, because a lot of them not only need to see it, but they need to hear it as well.
The debriefing sessions are valuable in analyzing not only what went right, but what went wrong, and gives the teaching team the opportunity to make frank disclosures.
3 of the 5 of them are 3 of my hardest kids.
Right.
And I can't even tell you, they've been going yesterday and today, and I got so much teaching done. Like, I felt like a teacher the last 2 days, not a jail warden.
Yeah.
Hamilton School sits about 6 blocks from the Susquehanna River, in the shadow of the state capitol dome. Surprisingly, a survey early in the TAP revealed that almost half the students had never been inside the Capitol, despite its proximity, to appreciate its palatial architectural beauty. Because theater can be an integration of many art forms to complement the dramatic spoken word, the door was open for this TAP to meld visual art and history with a visit to the Capitol. William Penn, with his Quaker ideals, a primary focus for the children, was also the focus of muralist Violet Oakley, whose 20th century artwork decorates the governor's reception room, Senate chamber, and state Supreme Court. The students were not only able to appreciate her artwork as it hangs in the Capitol, but after the tour they were also able to meet Violet Oakley. That is, an actress portraying Violet Oakley. In an intimate setting, the students actively listened to Violet Oakley sharing the stories her murals told. However, Violet Oakley was only one of 3 historic characters these children met. The second was Hannah Penn, as enacted by Janet. The third was kept a mystery until the day of an all-day field trip. That particular day began at the State Museum of Pennsylvania for an interactive lesson about William Penn, colonial life, Quakers, and Native Americans. The class left the museum for the Harrisburg train station, where they awaited the arrival of a mystery guest.
Oh, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Are you here to see me?
Yeah.
Did you know I was coming?
No.
Oh, it was a surprise. You do know my name, don't you?
Yeah.
Ah, but I'm going to teach you my name in Lenni Lenape.
Then a bus whisked the group to the Harrisburg Friends Meeting House, only blocks away from Hamilton School, where Mr. Penn talked about his life and times and how a Quaker service was conducted. The day ended on a paddle boat, where the children could compare William Penn's journey across the ocean aboard his ship Welcome with their sail on the pride of the Susquehanna. However, the single event that generated the most palpable student excitement during the program was when Frank Silver of Harrisburg's The Green Room Recording Studio moved into the classroom with a microphone, computer, monitor, speakers, cables, cords, a Pro Tool system to record the student's signature preamble rap, and a Harrisburg rap artist by the name of ESKIMO.
I know y'all want to know, how'd you come up with ESKIMO? Sort of. Y'all got kind of ideas. All right. You know how today y'all got slang, y'all might say something's hot, right? But when I was coming up, we said something was cold. We say, oh, those sneakers are cold. So when I would rap in school, people would say, oh, you was a cold rapper. You the coldest rapper. So I said, okay, Eskimos are cold. I like that. I took it on as a name.
The preamble rap, composed in Silver's imagination for the students' play about the colonization of America, aptly titled Imagination, was the finale not only for the student production, but also for their unit in social studies and for the TAP. And on this particular day in class, the students finally discovered who the people of the preamble were. They were.
We the people! We the people! We the people! We the people!
The students finally understood the imagination it took for our country's forefathers and mothers to lay the groundwork for what our country is today. Because people of the past could imagine a future for themselves, so these students of the present could imagine their own future.
My object is a book and a painting because I'm good at drawing a lot and reading, so I might be a famous writer or artist.
And they made this connection because of the dedication of one teacher and one artist working together. Did Megan and Janet cover everything in the syllabus they prepared in February? No. But do the students have a better chance of recalling the facts they did learn? Absolutely. Did all the children become stellar students? No. But was there academic and social engagement? Yes.
What you guys have learned how to do is you've learned how to learn. And it's, I know that sounds kind of funny, but the way you learn this history is the way you can learn just about anything. You can learn to be a doctor, a vet, a football player, a soccer player, by practicing, paying attention, showing up on time. That's how you learn everything.
Reflecting on the final performance, Judy Nuss, coordinator of social and emotional learning for Harrisburg School District, gave the students a 13-star rating for their play and directed the following comments to Megan, Janet, and Jump Street about the tap.
I truly believe your students will not forget this experience of integration of art and social studies, that this group of students has come to know some of the historical treasures of Harrisburg and historical moments of the USA, that they have come to experience the realness of people who became historical figures, and that they have come to use their creativity and understanding to craft cooperative vignettes is awesome learning. I am certain that there is a common bond between this group of students that will be difficult to break as they progress in their schooling. They have practiced the give and take that is needed to cooperate in the crafting of something more powerful than any one person could ever accomplish. This is true collaboration.
Our country began with curious and sometimes desperate Europeans imagining what lay across the ocean. A new world, a new beginning, a new life. This tap exposed children to imaginative people, historic buildings, and creative experiences, only blocks, yet in many ways an ocean away from the reality of their stark inner-city lives. In many ways, the children learned they are like the explorers they studied. They have begun to imagine a new world, a new beginning, and a new life for themselves, too. Good for our children. Good for our city. Good for our country. Imagination, indeed.
I'm told our founding fathers all sat down and wrote this list of principles that's known the world around. You see, the USA was just starting out,